I like actually injuring, not killing, because and because I like them to feel pain. I like to shoot under abdomen area because I've seen Ukrainian women raped by Russians. I go to the places where hard to survive.
If we compare Russian snipers and Ukrainian snipers, where they are standing.
And I even had argument with Russian sniper on the YouTube. Actually, he came to my comments trying to say disrespects. I killed him. Yeah, we had a duel.
Hello, I'm Jenny Klochko. You're watching my podcast, the platform for guest stories beyond your daily newsfeed. Today, our topic and guest is a perfect illustration how we, the community on this podcast, we communicate, we can hear each other, and just have a look at this. Last week on Thursday Live, we had guest. There was Vlad from International Legion with the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine. And we were discussing documentary Summertime in Ukraine. And Vlad, then our discussion went on other films. And one of you in the comments mentioned film Sniper the White Raven. I watched this film when it came out, and there was August and September 2022. I was in Ukraine and I watched this film in cinema. And I decided to watch it again, especially knowing Vlad was one of the consultants and he was even filmed in the episodes, as it turned out. So I watched this film again, and my feelings, my emotions were as strong as I watched it first time on the big screen. And I contact the person whose life was the foundation to this film. So please welcome our guest today, Mykola Voronin, who used to be a pacifist. He used to live in the nature and not even thinking about anything military. But now he's a sniper with Ukrainian armed forces. So before we, of course, I'm anticipating and I can't wait for us to talk about film and your story and everything about it. But before we get there, I would like to hear your thoughts, because we are heading to the 3rd anniversary of full-scale invasion. But for you and for many Ukrainians, it's actually 11 years of war. It's when Crimea was annexed, it's when the Russian army invaded to the east of Ukraine. How you reflecting, if you are reflecting, what are your thoughts about this date? Because as a journalist myself, and as many of my colleagues, it's thousands of them heading to Ukraine, because this is a huge, huge reason to talk to Ukraine, to uncover all different aspects of diplomatic side of war, military side of war. What are your thoughts about it?
It's not about Ukraine only at all. War is worldwide. If you didn't notice it, I'm sorry for you. Yeah, it's going on everywhere. In United States, United Kingdom, Poland, wherever you are, it is there. Russia is taking hybrid war. It is called like that, and you're not prepared. Believe me, you are not. I'm sure about that because I wasn't prepared as well. I wasn't prepared to this war, and I faced it as a clear sheet of paper without any skill or training, and that was hard. Believe me. I suggest you to improve your skills and in everything that is concerning war. It is information warfare. It is also weaponry. It is also hiding. Yeah, and all of that. Believe me, you will need it very soon.
For the past year, there were warnings from the British generals, and they were saying, that we have to prepare, we have to reorganize, we have to see how we can mobilize the civilians, and they were also offered training for the young people, those who are just about to become students, that kind of thing. But I don't think they've been heard by the ordinary civilians. At the moment, civilians and many politicians in the UK, they still the underlying feeling like the war is somewhere there. We are living in our happy clappy bubble, and it's very difficult to see for me, but this is the general mood at the moment. Nobody feels the danger. Nobody feels that war can change everything just within seconds, within minutes, like it's happened in Ukraine. But that's the mood at the moment.
Believe me, that's exactly the mood I had actually before the war. Yeah, and I know that transition, and I know that you will have it as well. Yeah, and it's gonna be painful. Believe me, you need to organize your mind a little bit other way. Um, Trying to think, what if war starts right now, like not the way it did start already, as an information warfare, as an espionage or whatever. It's going on all around you. I don't know where you are, but it is going on. Even if you're not aware of, it is going on around you. Yeah. So just try it a thought. What if? What if a real fighting, bombing, shooting starts around you? What will you do next thing? Yeah, and try to make an algorithm for you. Uh, Buy a gas mask, for example. Yeah, like in Syria, there was Zarine bombings. If you know, they were, and nothing like uh, nothing uh, disturbed Russia from implementing those gases. Well, it can implement any time on you, and if you don't have a gas mask, you will eventually die. It's not that expensive gas mask, but it can save your life. Yeah, and not only gas mask. Make a backpack with the most necessary things. That all ordinary things we save for civilians that can save life. Actually, yeah. It you may not need it, you may not use it, but if you will, it will really save your life. You know. So it's better to have it than not to. I wish someone like me said me something like this maybe 11 years ago so I could prepare. But I know, nothing is casual in our things, in our lives. We go our path, which makes us, and I went through things that prepared me for this war. I used to be a environmental settler. I lived in a hole in the ground, and that prepared me for this. So I feel kind of more prepared than you are,
Possibly.
especially now. Yeah, when I had so many trainings and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, we will get there. about your transformation. And, it's just preparing for the interview and looking more in the context of the film was based. And one of the sort of interviews you were doing, and the author mentioned that your life is worth 10 films. And so far, you have one under your belt. It's about sniping, this white raven. And I found this footage 13 years ago when exactly how your life was. You were very ecological, very sort of like connection with the nature, and you were very pacifistic, and you were making money at that stage of life by playing guitar and singing your songs. So, and your hair was long. So,
I
yeah.
was living actually without money. I was living out of system. I was living in the hole in the ground, and I was eating everything I grown up myself. I wasn't eating meat or anything anyone can buy. I was living for 8 months like this, without system, without anything, without buying food, going to supermarket, to any store or whatever. I was living um, in the field. Yeah, that was experiment of mine, and it was before war. That's what I said when I was trying to prepare myself. It is very uneasy. It is very hard to live without food you can buy. Yeah, and I was eating, for example, 200 grams of grain per day. Yeah, that was my daily ration, for example. And I grew that grain by myself. Yeah, and that was kind of interesting experience that helped me to form myself. It wasn't very easy. It was really hard, believe me. Well, I like I liked it. I liked it, and it was in the winter. It was really cold, and I was, um, breaking woods without axe, with my hands only, to make fire. That was fun, yeah. So,
Well, you did that, not because you love the nature and you decided to experiment. You went through a dramatic experience with cancer, haven't you? So it was kind of the way of transformation, discovering and healing yourself. It was part of your sort of path, wasn't it?
uh, mm, kind of, because that situation where doctors diagnosed cancer in me, there were a lot of diagnoses, but the cancer diagnosis was like pretty mind changing, Uh, yeah, so I went going wrong, I would say. I went going to exclusion zone of Chernobyl, unlegally, of course. I was traveling all over there, and I was living there because I read in some paper that radiation heals cancer. Yeah, I refused the ordinary healings and all that stuff. Yeah, so I went the interesting way, I would say. And yeah, I'm still alive. Look at me.
Yeah, well, cancer does change everything. The way how you see the world, how you feel.
Uh, and they gave me 2 months in 2004.
You're the lucky one. What can I say? Um,
Yeah,
I'm I know about
I'm
cancer.
still laughing at it. I'm still laughing at
Yeah.
that. Well, now I can,
Yes.
but it was painful. Yeah, it was painful then, and it still hurts. Let me say it that way.
Well, it's not something you can forget. And um, yeah, I know about cancer from first-hand experience, but we're not gonna go that way today. Um, So that you 13 years ago, how often do you reflect on those days? And do you recognize today's yourself? And what do you think about all this way you went through?
Every moment of your life is valuable. Every moment. And I value my every moment of life. It formed me as me. And to be sincere, I value every moment I went through and every moment I'm going through right now. Uh, that's your life. You're not gonna live it one more time, you know. Maybe you will in a form of tree or wherever. I don't know that. But now you're living your life uh, in this way. And every moment is valuable, even if it's last one.
Right. Um, Going back to the film, it's quite um when I was watching it and the actor who was playing you, and I have to say, obviously you have to cover your face, but you kind of very similar look like, and I don't know what's your impression, how you felt it. But do you think he was very close to you pre-war, when you were very ecological, when you were in a strong connection with nature, with the being basically very standing out of the people, environment, society where you lived in, and especially, those moments where the schools and young adults or those teenagers who were there, and you were standing out a lot. Do you think in the film how it was portrayed, it was good enough or close enough to the real life what you experienced?
Yeah, of course. I met Pavlo personally. We had conversations. We had conversations with my director. Actually, we created scenario together, and the director knows about me more even than my mom, to be sincere. Yeah, about those things I've done. Let me say it that way. My mom doesn't know a lot of them. She faced them from that film as well. Yeah, let me say it. It based on true stories. Yeah, it has uh, um, something that that aren't real. Let me say it like this. But that's what director does. He does like it more, more movie or what? Because life can be more unpleasant to view and harder to accept. So the mission of director of the movie is to adapt some things to viewer to percept, to be able to understand it from its point of view, from his point of view. And let me say it like that, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed screenplay. I enjoyed mm, personal communication with actors, with director, with producers. I had that, and um, mm, yeah, I'm glad that that film faced the reality we are in.
What's your favorite part of the film?
Sex scene.
It's the way expected. No, no. Okay.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. Yeah.
No, it's, I understand why it was sort of like given, and where it was part of the film. It was given this strong impulse, and this raw nature and raw emotions, and So I get sort of for the point of your storytelling, but I expected you're gonna say something about revenge, something about this masculine side of the film.
For me, sex is much more enjoyable.
Okay, fine. So you happy with everything in the film, or there are bits you would like to change, or you would correct?
There are there are things I would like to change because, like, there are things from sniper even view that look a little bit absurd. For example, the role of snipers shooting in one place. That's uh, fiction. There is no role snipers from 7 person or whatever person number shooting in one place from one place because it's like it's not natural for sniper. It's not actually the way sniper does. So I argued it with the director, but he decided it's gonna be viewable. So and maybe this is the only moment I will share because I promised the director not to
Criticize.
not to reveal things that aren't real. I would say that 80% 80% of film is real.
But you see, it's interesting. So you are a sniper, right?
Except not only, yeah, but one of my sides is a sniper, yes.
So, and on one hand, snipers have this like the magical, charm of being super sort of almost inhuman and doing this magical things, and they do this something extraordinary distances and this cool looking weapon and everything. From my communication with servicemen, I understand that sniper is not just ability to have good shot. It's complex of things, and one of them you have to grow mentally to be a sniper. So you have to have sort of like go through the hierarchy. But with your character, I don't know if it was the same with you. You joined straight away, and there were sort of like opportunity to go to be trained as a sniper, and then so on and so forth. Of course, you're a smart guy. You have 3 university degrees, and you were doing lots of things. But it's also kind of being the right psychological type to be a sniper, and it's more complex than that. So how was it with you? You really the same like in film, sort of like soon as you decided to join and there was like straight path to become a sniper, or for you in real life took a bit longer and you grew into it?
Well, if you ask me, I am the worst psychological type of character to be a sniper. Yeah, and I am smart, that's true. And that's the main reason why I became a sniper. I have eye problems, so I see not very well. And if I shoot from ordinary weapon without scope, uh, this would be harder for me to hit. And that's the thing. I understand it from the first day of my war participating in 2014.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I decided to be effective. I need to be a sniper to be effective. I always live about effectiveness. I was a gamer when I was young. I played games, computer games, and they're all about effectiveness to go through level the most effective way. Yeah, so I decided my life is a game, and it's much more interesting than a computer game. It has smells, tastes, it has feeling of cold and heat. Yeah, and you can grow in it. And of course, I decided to grow in it as a sniper because That's the most effective way for me to be effective and helpful in that situation. Yeah, and I I stated about that in the very first day I joined volunteer battalion Donbass. Actually, I stated I'm gonna be a sniper and give me a sniper rifle, and that was funny. They made laugh on me, of course, because they didn't give me AK uh, for for a while because I was like there was a phrase I laugh at it now from my companion. He said, "I'm afraid giving you a K because you can shoot me." Yeah. Yeah, because I never like had any weapon, communication before. I was vegetarian, peaceful, and all that stuff. Yeah. So, yes, that was a hard path. It's not easy. It's not magic for me at all. It's mathematics, skill, training. Yeah, all of that. It's pain. It's cold. It's hunger. uh, It's struggle. A lot of things, but not magic for me. Yeah.
Um,
and and yeah, I wish nobody went through this path because uh, it's well, sex is more enjoyable than this, you know. But life makes no choices sometimes. Well, you can. Well, I could have run, I could have run away, but but that would, this choice I even couldn't have made.
Help
Yeah.
me here. When I was watching this part where the character lost his the love of his life, and then he was brought to this sort of like the military base and everything, and I was trying, and then he was in some moment he becomes so determined to kind of to master all this training and become physically strong and do those bits with weapon. And for me, I couldn't understand myself. I watched the film twice, the whole film, and then I was going back to the bits, so here and there. And about was it about sort of driven by revenge, or it's more sort of like found yourself, for reconnect with yourself after being numb with the loss and the tragedy and sort of like digesting everything what happened?
It's hard to say, well, I was participating in Orange Revolution, if you know what
I
that's.
know I
Or
was participating in Orange Revolution. I still have the plastic raincoat I was given at the president's office, so I know
well,
that.
yeah, I'm the kind of active man, And when invasion stated, when it started, I infiltrated two Russian invaders in Donetsk and like was spying for right sector and special services of Ukraine on them without even like training weapon or whatever. I was there with a stick, and with a mask on my face and around those Russian spies and sending messages to SBU and right sector about all of them. And you know what? On the day second, uh, they told that we got a rat and they tried to find me on the second day of that mission of mine, which I volunteered for myself, and I was looking for myself with them for a day or two, yeah, and then I ran. because they were closer and closer to me, and I saw what they do with even you know any innocent people in their torture rooms, and I wasn't innocent at all. So uh, I ran. Yeah, and that was even before the situation that made me want them to revenge. And those situations repeated. More and more situations which I faced, which I saw, um, confirmed that they need to be revenged. They need to be fought, because if you don't fight, there will be more and more. They will come anywhere they can. Yeah. So I don't want them to come to your place, for example,
Yeah.
and rape you and all that stuff. What they do, believe me, I saw in my scope very unpleasant things, and I couldn't stop them sometimes. And because I had other mission, let me say it like that, and that uh, made my feeling to revenge grow. Yeah, and the revenge has not. It mustn't be, you know, evil or I don't know, emotional. It must be cold blooded. The best revenge is when you're cold blooded, when you're smart, and when you're planning, and where you're doing your revenge to the enemies that deserves it. Yeah, that's my case. Exactly.
So what revenge brings? Does it bring relief? Do you feel better?
It brings joy. Well, sex, sex, sex brings more joy. Let's say it like that. But when evil is struggling, when evil is punished, uh, it feels enjoyable. Yeah,
So the character in the film, he found those who brought him pain, and I guess it was just director's sort of like way to, because we all need happy end, we all need kind of this light at the end of the tunnel. But I don't think it's actually close to real life, or correct me if I'm wrong.
you're wrong. I had not one situation where I fulfilled my mission like that. And I even had argument with Russian sniper on the YouTube. Actually, he came to my comments trying to say disrespects. Yeah, and I uh, killed him. Yeah, we had a duel.
So it's actually,
So
one of my questions were about this sniper's duel. And the question was sort of like, is it more myth or did you have similar situation? And you actually had it.
yeah, it was fun. You need to be, you know, I'm not gonna reveal my secrets, what
Yeah.
I do to kill Russian snipers. Believe me, not one. Uh, but you need to be smart, and it's a chess game. Let me say it like that. And to be bit better in your chess game, you need to learn, prepare yourself, and the fantasy. Yeah, you need to fantasy good move and be able to make it real. Okay.
It's a known fact that before 2014, Russian Federation had quite strong traditional school of snipers, and they had this sniping competition. So basically, this field was quite developed. Since 2014, Ukraine started sort of trying to catch up. How do you sort of, if we compare Russian snipers and Ukrainian snipers, where they are standing and how strong Ukrainian snipers became? Because now we have manufacturers, supplying for the armed forces. And it's not because, as far as I understand, before 2014, there were sort of like defense intelligence, maybe SBU, they had kind of snipers, but it wasn't as big and widely practiced as it is now.
We're better. Believe me, we are. And, there's a difference between police sniper and military sniper. You know what's the difference? Well, police snipers shoots from close distance, and he needs to be as precise as possible to shoot enemy eye, for example, from 100, 200 meters, and he doesn't need to run after he shoots. A military sniper has to shoot as far as possible. It can be 1 mile, for example. Yeah, it's pretty far for a sniper to shoot. And he needs to run after shoot or to hide because he's been hunted. So that's the main difference between police sniper, SBU, as you mentioned, or any special force sniper, and military sniper like me. And believe me, to be a military sniper is much harder than to be a police sniper. Believe me, it is. And because it involves not only sniping, it involves a lot of things around it: hiding, information seeking, uh, reconnaissance, for example, a lot of things. Believe me, sniping in military sniper is maybe 10% or maybe even less. Yeah, and you need to be more educated, more smart, and more. Mm, Let me say it like that. You need to be able to make surprises for an enemy. Yeah, Mm, and that's I want to share one interesting situation. Remember that scene where a sniper shoots to something and explosion
Yes, and then
kills.
he sees his student, Ivan.
Yeah, yeah. It was like there was a, how do you say it, bet with me and another one. He said that sniper cannot kill more than one at once. I said, you know what? I can. And yeah, so this situation, for example, is one of the real ones. Yeah.
Do you know,
So
I
it
was impressed. I was impressed because for me, the
was
whole,
not only once, believe me. I made it not once.
yeah, but it's something, I mean, I'm not, it's not like I'm kind of know this field, but for me, it was surprised that you actually can, you know, hide all these explosions and make it all very impressive and effective, and all you can see is a beautiful leaf on the sort of trunk of the tree. And I noticed because I don't know the name of the tree, but usually I pick up those trees when I'm going for my daily walks, and my house is not far from the forest, so usually, especially in the autumn, so picking up some sort of leaves, and I that's why I paid attention. And the other thing was sort of like I was very impressed how you have to hide yourself, disguise yourself, sort of like you shouldn't be noticed in the field or anywhere else. That was quite impressive. Sort of, for me, it's like person being so far from this craft. I was sort of like having the pleasure because there were different locations and different masking sort of ways of doing that. That was great. The moment I was crying both times, and still I suspect if I watch, because we agreed with my husband we're gonna watch this film together, but I couldn't wait until he's ready, so I watched it myself, and after that I contacted you. But at the moment I was crying, obviously, when the character was working with his commander, and commander was shot. And this is the moment. I know the film director made it that sort of like people were crying, but I can't resist, because it was so strong. And is this happened in real life as well?
Not once. Believe me, I had a lot of losses, and I'm still uh, having them all heavy on my soul, and they motivate me to fight more, because they're watching, you know, they're watching and helping. I don't think about death the way ordinary people think, I would say.
How do you think about it?
I think we never die. I think we transform in other form, which is soul, information form, whatever you call it, and we still live, but in other form, and we can watch uh, and even help somehow to the people that are not dead. Let me say it like that. And I was on the other side. Let me say it like that. Maybe 3 times in my life, I was dead. Let me say it like that. And and there's nothing fearful or you know the fear of over there. It's actually the same as you are right now. Uh, Other feelings, and you can do less. Yeah, but still you can, and you see much more. And that's why when I go to cemetery, for example, I never cry or something like this. I say hello. Hey guys, how are you here? What's up? What happened lately? Yeah, and I actually sleep on the cemetery.
So you
Not,
find calm and peace there at the
yeah,
cemetery?
yeah, it is peaceful there. Maybe you should try it one
Do you
day.
Um, my perception of the cemetery was obviously changing through life, and I remember when I was my first memories of the cemetery was in the village. I'm from Kirovohrad region, from central Ukraine, and all my summers were at the small village where my grandparents used to live. And the first memories of the cemetery was in summer, because there's wild strawberries on the cemetery, and we as a kids were coming to pick the strawberries. And then later, obviously, the more I was growing up and I was more aware of the generations of the great grandparents, of the cousins, everything, when you tidying up the cemetery. And then next shift was 6 years ago. That was my last time I was in the village. I was visiting. I showed my child was the because I don't miss the town where I was born and I grew up, but I do miss the village, and I guess it's my happy place. And when I came to the to the cemetery, because on the way to the village, the first thing is the cemetery, so it's my first stop. And I came there, and it was shockingly, because all these monuments on the graves, they all have the portraits. And I was entering, and I realized that actually all my people, the people from my childhood, they all there. And cemetery became kind of like a very welcoming and friendly place. And I with I was there with such warm and sweet feelings because it brought me back to the to my childhood years when was passing by the houses of these people, and when I was greeting them and they were sharing sweets with me, and the weddings and all those sweet memories from they just like, and the cemetery changed all these emotions once and forever. Now I'm thinking about it, and it's my place to go whenever I can.
Yeah, when I was an artist back way, I was understanding that about death as well. So, for example, we were in Vilnius once, Lithuania. We were given a concert, and after concert, organizers like gave a tour over the city. You know, some went to ski palace or whatever, and I went to the cemetery, you know. and, I, and I was sitting there, you know, writing poems, you know, writing songs. That's, let me say it like that. That's a place I enjoy being in. And let me mention it as well. Anything that grows there tastes better.
Well, I don't know about tasting better, but actually thinking
But
about
I actually experienced it. Believe
but
me, on the other side of the fence, it
okay,
tastes
fine.
worse.
Fine. No argument on that. The interesting thing.
Even the snow, even the snow. I like tasting snow.
Okay. Okay. Well, you see in England, especially in the south, because I live in South London, so it's basically the south part of the country, we have snow once in 3 years, and it doesn't last long. So tasting snow, we just see snow, and even if it lasts half an hour, it's a huge thing for us. So you have the luxury of tasting snow. The character in the film, he has this words, before they take the shot, he says he kind of like pray. He say, God Almighty, direct my arm. And when I was reading about you, it says you are a religious sniper. Do you say those words before taking the shot? It's sort of like, is it kind of like mantra or concentration?
Yeah, I do. And actually, it is shortened. It was shortened by director. I say more.
Interesting. Did you come up yourself? Or it's
Yeah, yeah, of course I did.
why? Why do you do this?
It makes me concentrated more. And, you know, you need to control everything. You need to control your breath. And even if it's possible for you, you need to control your heartbeat as well. And that's not an easy thing to do. That's not an easy. And especially when you ran before that or did some physical exercises or whatever happens in life. Yeah, so to make yourself in the mood, in the shooting mood, I would say it like that, you need to do something. And that's a phrase I say. I say it, and it makes me concentrated and calm. It calms me down and prepares me for the shot. Yeah, I say it not only when I need to shoot. I also say it like when I need to calm down, for example.
Interesting. Usually, often, snipers working in pairs, so to help the position, sort of helping each other. Did you work with female snipers? And on your sort of, what's your take? What's the difference? And if there is a difference between a male sniper and female sniper?
That's my pain. Actually, I work alone.
Is it your choice?
It's a hard choice of mine. Mm.
Oh, yeah.
I never found a partner I could take with me where I go because you know, I had some losses of people near me, and I go to the places where mm, hard to survive. And if I die, that's one thing. And if my partner dies, that's another thing. And I feel responsible for that. And I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to have that anymore. Let me say it. I actually had a hint on a partner 3 years ago, a guy which I worked with for 5 days. Let me say it like that. And he almost died, and I had to carry him, save him, and it was hard. Uh, for me, it's easier to be alone. Yeah, I got my team as well, who support me, but to the places where I need to go and dangerous places, I usually go alone, and uh, my team is supporting me from a distance.
Wow. Hmm. Well, the whole idea of working as a sniper, you have to, as we mentioned earlier in the conversation, having the big distance and from what I understand, you even if you took the shot and someone fell, you actually don't have chance to confirm has he been injured or he's been killed. And but did
We've
you
got
have
drones now, we've got drones now, yeah.
right? Oh,
Yeah, and
right.
that's a paradigm change to be sincere in sniper warfare drones, because drones really help and they can kill. Yeah, so the drones are game changing parameter of this war, and it can confirm, of course, or deny. I like actually injuring, not killing, because and because I like them to feel pain.
Oh,
Yeah, and die slowly.
oh.
Yeah,
Did you have
I
situation?
I I I, I like to shoot under abdomen area. Let me say it like this. Yeah,
Interesting.
because I've seen Ukrainian women raped by Russians,
Well,
and
they
I couldn't do anything about that. There is a scene in the film when Russian soldiers were tossing that woman on the. Remember that scene?
yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I had to look it till the end, and not once. So I I like to make them pain.
Point taken. But my question was actually, do you see their eyes? Or it's too far?
Uh, there are different situations. Uh, you can see their eyes. You can hear they talk when you come close. Yeah, and from shooting far, you see their silhouette. And from shooting at night, through thermal vision, all you see is a dot, you know. So there are different situations. There was a funny one. Yeah, I was like uh, uh, sitting in the place, in the secret place, and watching enemies pretty close to them. And uh, I will not share that. Sorry.
You were one of those people who were defending Donetsk airport. And you're one of the cybers. Those people were called cybers because they were so strong, creative, and in Ukraine, there's a saying: the concrete couldn't handle it, but the people who did handle, they were standing. Do you reflect on those days? Because it is quite of the um, dramatic historical pages in Ukraine modern history. Do you think of those days, or you would keep that door to those emotions and those thoughts closed for now?
More than that, I value them very much. As I said, I value every moment, and they made me very strong. Believe me, it was very hard. It was cold. Uh, it was um, I don't know how to describe it. It was well, I felt hero over there. When you're in a small number, when you're outnumbered, and when you hold firm your place, it's inspiring. Yeah, it is. It's inspiring because, like, uh, um, you know, I had no situation like that. I mean, I had other situations, but not like that. And Donetsk Airport is a big, uh, valuable diamond of my memory because a lot of enemies received their pain they deserve over there.
And you are a hero. And those guys who were defending airport, and it's um when I think of those days and those moments, it makes me back to the words I've heard from one of the Ukrainian pilots. He's one of the F-16 pilot, and in sometimes we have these discussions, and from time to time, sort of, we're coming back to this phrase he said once a long time ago: the Ukraine is a nation of the warriors. And I think the events started actually 2004, and it's more sort of like uncovered in 2014 when the war started. It's all kind of kicked in, something the spirit was sleeping long time, and then this sort of like inner warrior. And I think it was sort of basically Ukrainians got back to themselves. After all those years of occupation and all this humiliation, everything.
We're a nation of heroes. Let me say it like that way.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
absolutely.
nation of heroes, and uh, mm, even mom giving birth in metro station, is a hero for me. And there are a lot of heroes in Ukraine, but let me say it like this: uh, there are a lot of dumb ones. Dumb and stupid that make stupid decisions that uh, cost us a lot in blood.
Which you think could be avoided.
Yeah,
But do you think we are learning sort of from our mistakes, and how different, for example, war now to comparing to the war when it was in 2014?
completely different. But drones, as I said, change a lot. Yeah. Now it's war of the future, more a Terminator thing. Yeah. And you know what? Western world, let me say it like that: Great Britain, United Kingdom, uh, Germany. Even the United States are not prepared for that war at all. Russia is learning very well right now. They are learning, they are changing all that things, and they are learning from us, from their enemies, as we do. We learn from our enemies and from the war situations, but we're more creative. We usually create and generate ideas. They steal. For example, frustrating situation for me that over the Germany, for example, there were drones flying, enemy drones, and nothing has been done. Nothing. They even didn't identify them at all at the start. They started identifying them later. They're still flying, over there. Over the German army base. Russian drones are flying freely without any, like, any anything. And that's frustrating. Also frustrating thing for me that, for example, there was sociology in Poland and in Great Britain as well, as I remember, and it said that only like 15-ish% of people are ready to fight for their country. Others are ready to run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know?
And that's frustrating, because when it starts, there is no place to run. There is no, believe me, there is no, and you're in the situation where you need to fight or die, or your relatives, close friends, good buddies of yours are gonna die if you're not gonna fight, and that situation you're in when it starts. And yeah, you can run. Mm. But when the war is worldwide, which it is right now, there's no place to run. There's no place to run.
Not long time ago, I came across video on Instagram, and that was sort of recorded in central London, and there were just men of different age stopped, and they were asked, "What would you do if the war tomorrow?" And I think there was only one man, and he was like in his 60s. He said, "Well, I'll fight. I'll get the weapon and I'll fight." And all the young men, they were saying, "Oh, I'm allergic to gunpowder. Oh, I'm not, I wasn't born for the war." Things like that. And I sent to my friends to Ukraine just to show what's the mood. Um, yeah. Well, as I told you at the beginning of our conversation, the whole attitude to the war was happening in Ukraine. It's the war is somewhere there, and we are living our best life, which is fair enough. Um, if they realized the danger and the possible risk for everything, it requires some sort of even bravery to think about it. So I don't judge, but it does make me sad. Mykola, being a sniper is quite a pricey thing. It's not just about training, it's all the equipment, and sometimes it's not just thousands of euros or dollars. It's sometimes it's dozens of thousands. How do you manage?
I receive help.
What do you mean?
No, I'm not gonna reveal that.
Okay. So, war in Ukraine, you've been fighting for 11 years. So it's quite a lot. What keeps you going? Do you have the moments when you tell yourself, that's it, I'm done. There's been enough war for me. Too much pain, too much drama. I want just to live my life.
Every fucking day. Sorry.
So what keep you going? How can you carry on?
Sometimes I don't know what keeps me going. Believe me, sometimes it's something. Sometimes it's support from the dead. Uh, Sometimes it's support from the living. Sometimes it's support from the nature, from the sun, from the grass, from the snow, which I eat. And
Have you started eating things from supermarket?
of course, I have. I even eat meat
Oh,
from 2014. I didn't eat meat for 10 years before that.
yeah. Do you miss the time when you didn't eat meat?
No.
Do you know, I had experience in my life. I didn't eat meat over 7 years, and only when I got pregnant, I sort of like at some point I just realized that I would kill for a little piece of meat, and I got back to it and never stopped back then. But I realized there wasn't actually, while the experiment was interesting and enjoyable, I realized it was quite damaging for my health. My immune system was much weaker than it is now.
There are different beliefs in that. I actually didn't feel damaging for my health when I was eating 200 grams of uh, grain per day. For example, I was strong. Now I'm fatter, to be sincere. I
You
gain weight.
need it to keep you warm. You need it. You have
Yeah,
to save your.
I was pretty slim then. So I don't know, and I grow older. Let me say it like that way. And when you grow older, some things get harder for you. It's much harder for me to run 30 kilometers, for example, right now. Yeah, my leg hurts. Yeah, my back hurts, and I don't know, my shoulders hurt, whatever. But I ignore them.
Well, I ask this question all my guests, and it doesn't matter are they foreigners or they are Ukrainians. What do you love about Ukraine the most?
Everything I love about Ukraine, Ukraine. I love this country. It's mine. Uh, and it has a lot of things that one can enjoy. Nature, people, um, mentality, I would say. It has shit, let me say it like this. Uh, and it has shit a lot. But you can enjoy it as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate that you found this time, energy, and it's in the middle of the night from wherever you are. And I I wanted I wanted viewers from different countries to hear you. And why do you think they should watch the film about you or based on your story?
It's fun. Well, I've seen sniper films a lot. And for example, there is film Sniper 8 or something. It's really far from sniping. uh, this one is pretty close. As I said, 80% of situations described there happened in real life. And and uh, it can be learning for someone. It can be enjoying for someone. It can be painful for someone. So figure out for yourself which one is yours.
Yeah, I just remind our viewers that this film in the UK available on Amazon Prime. If you're in different countries, check where you can watch it, and I highly recommend. It's very, very interesting and very powerful story. Please do. Thank you very much. And stay safe, take care, don't get too cold. And yeah, I wish you all more the positive and inspiring moments. And all your plans or wishes come true. Well, sort of like something you think.
I would love that. I have so many joyful plans. I want a lot of kids.
Wow, that's the plan. Go for
Yeah,
it. Go for it. Ukraine needs it.
it's kind of we go for it right now. Maybe later. I'll see what happens in my life.
Yeah, thank you very much. And keep in touch and take care.
Yeah, have fun as well. Have fun and be prepared. Believe me, it's better to be prepared than to be not. I experienced both. And it is better to be prepared than to be not.
True, so true. So you had an opportunity to hear from Sniper White Raven himself and how much truth in the film and what he thinks about the war. And let me know in the comments what you think about it. For me, that was quite unexpected. I knew it's going to be interesting, but it's even more than I expected. And I'm still trying to digest it all. So I remind the film is available in the UK on Amazon Prime, and you can see on YouTube there are trailers, and let's discuss it on Monday live after this interview is published on Sunday, 6 p.m. And let's have discussion. I'm sure we have a lot of things to talk about. And I would like to thank you for watching, for supporting, for all your subscriptions, for likes. If you haven't done it, what are you waiting for? Please hit the button and join our community. You see, I've heard your recommendation about the film, and here's the guest. Let's keep communicating, let's keep inspire and suggesting each other interesting and exciting things. Thank you for watching. I'm Jenny Klochko. Take care.